Hello vinyl community, it's Bill here again, and today I'm doing the long promised musical statues. So yeah, I'm going to play some music, and when the music stops I want you to stand as still as possible. Then I'll look out and see which one of you is moving first and you'll be out of the game. Well, not quite. This musical statues is going to be based on some statues of musical legends and icons, and we're going to start off in Bonnie, Scotland, just down the road from me, or up the road if you're in Edinburgh, a place near Forfar called Kirriemuir. And if you look hard enough, you might need to ask some locals, but you will find a statue of Bon Scott of AC/DC. This great man here was born in Kirriemuir, and I think he lived there in his maybe toddler years before emigrating to Australia. And in fact, in Fremantle, there's another statue of Bon Scott on Queen Elizabeth's Pier, or as the Aussies call it, Betty's Jetty. So if you're down that way, down under, see if you can find that statue. But the statue is near a car park in Kirriemuir, and I think they have a Bon Scott festival around his birthday, maybe the weekend of his birthday, each year. And maybe that stopped during COVID, but yeah, there's a local mini festival, I think, with AC/DC tribute bands, etc. But yeah, the album I'm showing is If You Want Blood, You Got It, and this is one of the very best live albums in the rock canon, and it's got Riff Raff, Bad Boy Boogie, The Jack, Whole Lotta Rosie, Let There Be Rock, and Rocker, amongst others. So all titles written by Angus Young, Malcolm Young, and Bon Scott. So iconic sleeve as well. And of course, in the Bon Scott era, we also had Powerage, which has got Riff Raff on it, and Sin City. So yeah, really good album this. And last one to show is Dirty Deeds, and they're done dirt cheap. Nice photo of a Citroen there, but high voltage TNT, you know, if you want rid of your high school teacher or headmaster, whatever, they've got this again, his classic lineup of tracks: Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Rocker, Problem Child, and Squealer. Then, still within the UK, slightly further down the road, we find I was going to say the Four Tops, but the Four Mop Tops, and that's the Beatles. And yeah, I think this cover photo from Live at the BBC sort of almost mimics the one that you can find, four statues that you can find at the Pierhead in Liverpool. This is a great live album yeah, the BBC did a great job of recording lots of musical acts, but yeah, there's a really nice interviews with the band and things from various various radio shows. We've got here, you know, a lot of the covers that were in their early repertoire, but there's some Lennon and McCartney in here as well. So you've got one of my favourite sort of 50s, early 60s songs, Shot of Rhythm and Blues. We've got, yeah, Johnny B. Good and Memphis, Tennessee. We'll be coming back to Memphis, Tennessee later in this video. And there's Can't Buy Me Love, I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride. Yeah. But they've also, you know, Kansas City and Dizzy Miss Lizzie. So that's the Beatles. Of course, their early days were chronicled in the anthology 1, and yeah, this is where you'll find the recordings of, I think, Pete Best on drums on one of the early Beatles singles, the one that wasn't used. And you've also got, I think, My Bonnie from and Ain't She Sweet from their Hamburg days, and one after 909, which was a song they kept in their pockets for a long time until it finally appeared on Let It Bleed. Let It Bleed? Let It Be. That'll Be the Day, one of the very first recordings of the Beatles. So there we have it. So if you are in Liverpool, you should go to the Cavern. Lots of Beatles tribute acts, or just you know, folk singers who will do a few Beatles numbers, etc. Great atmosphere. There's 2 caverns, and there's one has the statue of John Lennon, which I won't show. And there's also a statue of Cilla Black on Matthew Street in Liverpool. So, some more Beatles albums that you don't see very often. So quite a nice cover and a collection of the Beatles ballads. And the cover by a Scottish artist. And this is Anthology 3. I've got Anthology 2 on CD. But yeah, Beatles, very influential, and 4 great musical statues. So maybe time for a little music. Stop! Right. Next, we're going to pick up these statues in the US of A. I was lucky enough to do a wonderful music trip with my wife. We started off in New Orleans, and then we took a Mississippi River cruise on one of these boats, river boats with a big wheel at the back. Big wheel keeps on turning. And arrived in Memphis after a week on the water, and then we went to Nashville. So there's a few musical statues along the way, and we'll show you that shortly. And the first one is, of course, Elvis Presley, and there's a great statue of Elvis at the top end of Beale Street. Just opposite where they now have a hard rock cafe, but which used to be the site of the tailors that did Elvis's, well, all his outfits really, whether they were stage outfits or just his day-to-day wear. But yeah, there's a statue of Elvis there. So I'm going to show Elvis the Sun collection. Fantastic collection. It's on the RCA label, but and this is, you know, issued by RCA in 1975. But this has got That's All Right Mama, written by big boy Arthur Crudup, Blue Moon of Kentucky, and you've got I'm Left, You're Right, She's Gone, and Mystery Train, which, see, has got a credit here for Parker Phillips. So Sam Phillips picking up some sort of credit there. And is that Colonel Parker? Right. And then Blue Moon by Rodgers and Hart. I Love You Because. There's two versions of I Love You Because on here. Really good collection. And then, because I visited Graceland, when I returned to the UK, I picked up this NBC TV special, which has got some great tracks on it. Nice rock and roll medley of Lottie Miss Claudie, Heartbreak Hotel, Hound Dog, and All Shook Up. Yeah. And then there's some gospel stuff and Guitar Man. Right. Also, on another part of Beale Street is a statue to W.C. Handy, who gets credited with writing the very first blues number. So I'm going to show this CD of Louis Armstrong Plays W.C. Handy. This is part of a 25 CD set from it's a perfect jazz collection. But this is good. It's got, now I'm not sure which one, I think it was Memphis Blues. Was that the first one? If you know differently, put something in the comments below. But we've also got Beale Street Blues and St. Louis Blues on this as well. And one of the sort of bonus tracks has Louis Armstrong and the band recording one of the tracks and speaking to the sound engineer, and I think they have to get some of the percussion to move back a bit, or move chairs of the vocalists closer to the mic, and there's all that sort of dialogue, studio dialogues. Very, very interesting. Really good album. This a really good box set. Again in Memphis, there's a statue to Bobby Bland, and this is two CDs, two albums on the one CD. Bobby Bland's Two Steps from the Blues, which is described here as, it's from 1961, but the sleeve notes say that Bobby Blue Bland was one of the main creators of the modern soul blues sound, along with such artists as Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, and Junior Parker. And that sort of two albums in the one CD comes from this great introduction to the blues set. It's got, as you saw, Howlin' Wolf's Moaning in the Moonlight. It's got Ray Charles, the Genius Sings the Blues, Johnny Guitar Watson, and Freddie King, Etta James, At Last, and there's some B.B. King. So let's have some more music and see if you're good at stopping. And since we mentioned B.B. King in that list, there is, of course, in Memphis, a statue to B.B. King, and this is one of his top albums, Live at the Regal, featuring B.B. King and the wonderful guitar. It's Lucille. But this got Every Day I Have the Blues, It's My Own Fault, You Upset Me Baby, You Dawn Lost Your Good Thing Now. So this is from the Pickwick. So maybe it will be a reissue. Finally, for statues in Memphis, there's a great Blues Hall of Fame museum, but a really good museum if you're really into the blues. And outside on the street there's a bench and you can sit down next to Little Milton. And Little Milton features in this album called The Roots of Rock, Volume 2, Sam's Blues. And there's tracks here from Howlin' Wolf, Little Milton and Houston Baines. You maybe did know, maybe you didn't, but Sam Phillips recorded a lot of blues artists, and he was really interested in the black man's music, and encouraged a lot of blues artists to come into the Sun recording studios. So he did a lot of that before discovering Elvis and recording Jerry Lee Lewis and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins, as well as Elvis. This has got, one side is Howlin' Wolf, second side is all Little Milton, apart from the final track, which is Houston Boynes. But this has got Little Milton's Rode That Train All Night Long, Lonesome for My Baby, Somebody Told Me, Running Wild Blues, and Begging My Baby. Sam Phillips here and Little Milton there. After we were in Memphis and we also visited Graceland while we were there, we also went to Nashville, and outside the Ryman Auditorium was various statues, including one of Loretta Lynn. And this is Van Lear Rose, and you can see Jack White's on the back. The band sound like Led Zeppelin in some places, so it's like a country singer with a backing band of heavy metal or heavy rock. Really great album, this really great vocalist, country legend, Loretta Lynn. One last piece of music, and I hope you're getting these shapes and managing to stop when the music stops. Caught you out there. So shout out to Kev at Sainsbury's in Aberdeen. Other supermarkets are available in the northeast of Scotland. Kev is one of my subscribers and has been promoting my channel while he's been doing his checkout duties at Sainsbury's. So thank you very much, Kev. And also a big hello and thank you to all my new subscribers who joined following that sort of vinyl community tsunami of videos about the 10 records that you listen to most. I really enjoyed doing that. I'll be back soon, probably for Q3 2003 divestments and acquisitions, and you'll be surprised. There's quite a few divestments. That's it for now. Take care. Bye.